Welcome to this episode of Chattin with Staxx. I'm your host, Bill Staxx, and today I got Larry Lavine.
I can read through something in about 10 minutes, and I know at that point, let's say somebody gets charged, and the lawyer tells them, well, you're going to get straight probation. And people, oh, God, thank God. I'm reading the shit 5-10 minutes later saying, no. Unless you do a 5K1 or you get a Rule 35, you're doing custody time, my friend. Your charge does not qualify you to get straight probation. So your lawyer just bent you over and took your money fully knowing that you weren't going to get probation.
Yeah,
Then this dumbass is going to spend the next 6, 9, 12 months litigating with the U.S. attorney. Bill, do you know what a lawyer's job is? Do you really know?
To get your money and work with them.
Aren't you smart? Okay. I ask people this all the time. It's to defend you. No, the lawyer's job is to create billable hours. That's it. So this lawyer is going to litigate with the prosecutor for the next year, file all kinds of shit that he knows. Let's get Puff Daddy as an example. I was talking about this on News Nation earlier this year with Ashley Banfield. Remember when Puff was trying to appeal to get out on bond and they were doing this and that, and I'm on TV going, no. The lawyer knows that his charges will not give him bond. So the lawyer's saying, we'll file this and we'll file that. Yeah, well, they did.
We got to try. That's more money.
We got to try. Ching, ching, mother. But the lawyer knows. The lawyer knows this is not going to go anywhere. The lawyer's just got his hand in his pocket up to his, in your pocket, up to his elbow. So the lawyer, they don't give a fuck about you. They're not going in. And you know, it's interesting that Zito said he didn't have money for a lawyer. Remember?
Yeah.
It means he had a public defender. But they're not all bad, the federal public defenders. They're not like some jackass you get in the county or state system. The public defender is getting paid a salary for the year. Okay.
They all hang out together, all of them.
Well, all right.
Prosecutors.
Yeah. Remember, the judges were all lawyers once, or should have been. The prosecutors are all lawyers. The public defenders are all lawyers. They all belong to the bar association. They socialize, they drink, they cheat on their wives with the same women, and they pass these women around and shit. They all know each other, but the public defender's office, they don't want to go to trial. They're just going to want to plead you out. So Zito's lawyer probably said, look, they've got enough evidence on you. You need to take a plea agreement, because if you go to trial, you're going to lose what's called acceptance of responsibility. They have this grid system based on your criminal history, what your charge is. The more drugs, the more time. In a fraud case, it's all based on your role in the fraud.
But you heard him. I didn't take a plea. I wasn't willing to take a plea. He didn't do it. Remember? You heard him.
Well, he did. He did take a plea. The lawyer didn't want to take. How do you take it to trial? Okay, I was just talking about this the other day. I forget. I think I was on Inside Edition talking about this. Let's say Jose Rodriguez comes and jumps the border. And he's been here before. Okay, so this isn't his first rodeo.
Yeah.
It's in the system. They got this mother DNA. They got his thumbprint. They got his picture. They know who he is. He comes back into the U.S. He's not here for illegal entry. He's here for illegal re-entry. There's no question it's him. Well, guess what? He pleads not guilty. He is guilty. He's here. What is he going to say? He's not here? And then he gets to melt. And this is what's happening with all these immigrants. And they get their day in court. So he gets to go through they get to go through the trial process for the next year and a half, and plead guilty on something they're obviously guilty for.
And they're not even citizens. And they're getting the same rights as the people that belong here. They need to just put them on a plane, ship them back.
That's right. I don't agree. Well, I agree with what Donnie Trump did as far as sending people back to El Salvador. Probably was a good thing. We don't need them people here. We could commit our own crimes. We don't need these foreigners cutting into our action, mother. But the thing is, when the judge gave that order to turn the plane around or something, Donald is not above the law. Those laws are for everyone. He can't say, well, I'm the president and I can decide not to.
Yeah, but that judge has no jurisdiction to tell the president what to do.
Well, yes, he does.
You think so?
Oh, it's happening all day now. Look, read the news.
Yeah, but those are Democrat appointed judges, and that's why they're going against them.
Stop. Okay. They're Title III judges. They are federal judges. They're part of the judiciary. You remember when you were in school, when you weren't cutting, they talked about separation of powers. You have the legislative branch. That's the Congress and the Senate. They make the laws. Then you have the executive branch, the president. They enforce the laws. Then you have the judicial branch. What they do is decide whether or not the executive branch is legally enforcing the laws the legislative branch passed. All of these federal judges have equal authority. Trump can issue an executive. Okay, I just read this morning. Trump's executive order to close the USAID agency down, federal judge put a hold on that. They wanted to go and fuck with the Social Security. Federal judge put a hold on that. A federal district court judge in the United States, I don't give a who appointed them. They have absolute ability and legal authority to override the president on an order. The president's no better than you or I. We all have to follow the law. So what you said is completely untrue, Bill. Remember, I do this all day long. I know how it works.
I think a lot of these judges are, just putting their.
Okay, you're right, but that's an entirely different matter.
Yeah,
they're putting their own personal beliefs on it, but they can do that.
Like, come on, people are on Social Security that are 150 years old. The judge is going to block it and not stop that from getting paid.
They weren't on Social Security. Here's how this took place. You need to stop watching Fox News. Listen. Yeah. Let's say when Social Security was enacted, wasn't it in the 30s or something?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. So let's say somebody was 75 years old in the 30s. And their name was in the Social Security system. That person died. Well, when that person died, they don't purge your name out of the system, but they're not paying benefits. So that whole thing that they're paying out to a 150-year-old person, it never happened. It's all these days, Bill, who knows what's real? But that's a hoax. You got to look past it. You have to. I mean, I didn't vote for Trump. I didn't vote for what's her name? Kamala. I did a write-in vote. Matter of fact, you know my friend there, Jacqueline, that lives in Connecticut.
Yeah.
I wrote her name and Jacqueline Pavlari, Evolution Reentry. She did federal time. I wrote her name in for president. She was my write-in. And I wrote my name in on my local ballot for county sheriff. I didn't win. I never win. So I don't support any of these people. Not one.
Listen, either way, we're getting screwed.
We're getting.
It doesn't matter who it is.
That's right.
Yeah, you would look good with a sheriff hat on, man.
I got one here somewhere. I got all kinds
of sheriff hat.
You're busted, mother. I'm going to let everyone here go except you. Some hot woman would say, you know what? I'm going to do an interrogation. Let's go into my office and we're going to do some investigation here.
So what are your final thoughts on this Chuck
Final
Zito?
Thoughts on Chuck Zito, that the U.S. attorney, the prosecutor, the U.S. Department of Justice, they don't just hand out Rule 35s like it's candy. You had to have provided something of value to them. You had to have provided substantial assistance to them in the prosecution of another to get the benefit of a Rule 35.